Happy Sabbath, my YouTube family. There's a song that said, if you stand up for Jesus, he'll stand up for you. Okay, I'm gonna give you a short illustration about all the faithful men back then that believed strongly and have faith to know that nothing can harm them. So, Elisha, you will find him in 2 Kings 6. We are reading from verse 15 to 17. Okay, so Elisha was a man of God. So one morning, his servant got up and was sore afraid, because when he looked right around, he saw horses and chariot and lots of soldiers ready for war. And when he looked, only he only saw Elisha, and he went and said, Master, what can we do? What are we going to do? Look out there. See many horses and man with chariot and all of them all around us, surrounded us. They were all surrounded. And Elisha looked at him and smiled and said, those that fight for us are more than those that fight against us. So this servant was shocked and was wondering, is this prophet mad or what? How can he say those that fight for us is more than those that fight against us? And when he looked, he doesn't saw anyone more himself and Elisha. So Elisha said, Lord, please open the eyes of my servant that he can see. And God opened the eyes of Elisha's servant, and when he looked with the spiritual eyes, he saw the mountains right around, all around, chariot of horses and soldiers, chariot with fire, surrounded them. And he saw that he understand what Elisha was saying, that those who fight for us is more than those who fight against us. Right? So without the spiritual eyesight, without God opening his eyes, he couldn't see, because he didn't have that strong faith and he was not connected to God the way that Elisha connected to God. And if you look back in Kings, there are many other stories about Elisha, right? This lady who didn't have any children, and when Elisha walked through her village and he stopped by her, and she was kind and nice to him, and she put a room and a bed in that room, that anytime the man of God passed that way, he can stop by. She was kind. And one day when Elisha went to her house, he blessed her and tell her that she gonna have a child, and she was laughing and say, in my whole age, that cannot be, in my whole age. And eventually it happened. She became pregnant and she have a son. But sadly to say, one day the man of God passed her way again and went on his way doing God's work. And when she went in, the son was crying for his head, and she sent him to the father. And by going to the father, said his head was hurting and he have a fever. The father said, tell him to go and lie down. When the mom went in to check on him, he was dead. He was cold. And she was crying and said, what is this? What is this? What is this? And asked one of her servants to saddle up her horse. And her husband was saying, where are you going? In those times, you don't go to the prophet. The prophet have to come to you. And the husband was saying, why are you going to the prophet? But she would tell the husband that the son was dead. And she still insists that she's going. And when she went, and Elisha's servant saw her coming, they want to stop her. But Elisha said, leave her, let her be. She's grieving. And she came to him and grabbed him by the, in those days they didn't wear pants, by the hem of his garment. And she was crying to him and said, do you come to mock me? Did I ask you for a child? You are the one who said I will have a child. And no, look what is happened. What happened? And she was crying. And Elisha knew exactly that the child was dead. And he sent his servant and said, go straight to her house. Greet no one. Anyone pass you by the wayside, don't answer. Call to you, don't answer them. Just go. Go, call to no one and answer no one. Just go straight to that lad. Lay my staff on him. And But when he went and he lay his staff upon the child, nothing happened. So he came back to Elisha and said, nothing happened. So Elisha went back to the lady's house, and when he went there and went into the son, the little boy, not in his room, the room that they made for Elisha, that where she carried the dead boy and put him in Elisha's bed. So when he went in and saw him, he stretched forth himself. He lay on the young man, and he stretched out his hands and his nose to his nose, his mouth to his mouth, his eyes, and he stretched and he called upon the Lord. He called upon God, and he stretched, and the child sneeze, and he get up again and he go back, and he did it until the child started coughing, and by coughing the child come back to life again, and he took him to his mom. He took the little boy to his mom, and she praised God. So many things Elisha has done. So when you stand up for Jesus, he stand up for you. Nothing, no harm will come upon you from you believing him and have faith in him. And remember David and Goliath. Remember, the Goliath was a mighty man. All Israelites were afraid of him. Soldiers, the king, everyone feared Goliath, because he was the champion giant there. And all the Israelite army was afraid because they didn't trust God the way they should. They have fear. And once you said you have faith in God and you have fear, faith and fear doesn't work. Faith without work is dead. So they said they have faith, but they were fearful, so they couldn't do the work that God wanted them to do. They didn't trust God the way that they should. If they did trust God the way they should, they would not be afraid of Goliath. Don't know that God can deliver them from anyone, so God could deliver them from Goliath. But because their faith was weak, they depend only on themselves. Never go in connection with God to say, we want you to help us to destroy this man who think he can curse us out and curse you, our God. But there come little David, who said he can challenge Goliath. And when Goliath saw David, he was laughing and going on, am I a dog? Am I this, that you bring this little, and was insulting David, throwing words at him. But David go with God. David was with God. God was with David because David believed in him, and David was strong in the faith, right? And he knows that faith without work is dead, and he wasn't fearful. He was fearless because he knew that God will deliver him out of the hands of this giant. David was just a little boy, but David was not afraid. When all the other soldiers got running from Goliath, when they see him coming, boom, boom, because they say when he walked, the earth shook. So that's how he was walking, coming towards David, and David now with his little sling, God tell David what to do. God, he intervened in prayer with God, and David wheeling his sling, while Goliath stepping well arm up, but forget his forehead. And David with his little sling, with the marble stone, wheeling, and time to let go, whoop, right in his forehead. The mighty giant fell, whoop, dead, and David went and just cut his head off. And all the other soldiers ran away, because if David can kill the mighty man Goliath, they have to flee because they are afraid of David now. So you see, David go with the fear of the Lord and challenged Goliath, and he defeated Goliath, right? He win the battle, and everybody was praising him now, praising David, little David, right? Because God was with David, right? David stand up for God, and God stand up for him. So you see, if all those other soldiers did believe and have faith, they could have overcome that giant. God would have shown them what to do, how to get him. David, King Saul put on all kind of thing on David, but David said, no, they are too heavy. David went well geared up with God armor, right? His breastplate with faith and righteousness. That's what he'd take and defeat Goliath. So let us always armor with God's righteousness and faith, and believe in him, to know that we can overcome every obstacle by faith in God. We just have to put our trust in Him, alright? So happy Sabbath to you all. Remember to like my video, share my video, and for those who haven't subscribed to my channels, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe to my channels, alright? So this is just some words, food for thought, alright? So you can go into your Bible, and read this wonderful passage. Yeah man, 2 Kings 6 verses, from verses 15 go down, and just read 2 Kings 1 and you get a lot of those great men before, prophets and so on, what they have faced and the challenge that they have. But because they believe in God, they have overcome all the obstacles. So if we believe in God, all that is going on around us, we can overcome by the grace of God. So let us stand up for God and He will stand up for us. Peace out. Remember to like, share, comment. Love you guys. Bev Brown said that.